always going to have some left up. Ends up being a Zombie and Tubarão for this match, but that also, again, Solus is now going to be played. We're probably going to see Mira, Valkyrie. I'm surprised, actually, that we're not seeing Valkyrie in round number 1 with how important she can be on every single side of this map.
Maybe on a more roam-centric comp, we'll see bigger emphasis on not utility, but information ops such as Solus and Valkyrie. Again, big reason why Daemless is popular on maps like Consulate and Nighthaven. Same reason for Solus. A lot of soft flooring and good opportunities for early info and late info in the round, so long as you have your gadget active. Wolves so far starting out on the map looking to most likely get both the con wall and IT wall opened up. But big problem here, they've got to focus on both the Cade Claws and Bandit batteries that are available to SCARZ right now. It seems like they've got a Cade Claw reactivated back on the top wall. Tayo looking to trick it as well, but a second EMP pops out at just the right time, and that IT wall already open, plus 2 Cade Claws now gone.
Yeah, really well done from Wolves. I mean, it's something that they deal with every time they play Labs. There are no strangers to trying to deny tricks like this. And that, again, that Tubarão ban really helping with the expeditiousness in which they're able to open that up. Mowgli does take a lot of punishment from somewhere about 24 HP now, but Wolves now have that IT breach open, and they're now looking to go through Connector and activate that split onto the site.
They're just waiting for more man presence here. Seems like they are unable to get this utility off the wall from the outside, so once again, they'll just wait to go inward before making that final push. Seems like they have a mute inside of E-Box right now, so this could be very dangerous. Beautiful shot landed by Fishlight. That's Mowgli gone. Your IQ, which could have been very impactful for finding any other bits of utility like those mute jammers or even where exactly those bandit batteries were. But a good trade is spotted by top Raptors here for Wolves, and they're still getting plenty of map control, having 3 people by the IT side of the map looking to solidify here.
Killing the Raptors player there is huge. You shut down the Legion before he's able to get all his mines out as well. And most importantly, you answer back for Mowgli's death. So even at 4 apiece, the Deimos looking to work his way into command. Can almost see the player behind Pillar and Wreck. Had no idea what was about to hit him. Attempted refrag attempt now from Tayo. He's able to land the shots on the dead shot. Lasmo dead off screen as well. 3 versus 2 for SCARZ with 35 seconds left to try and delay. Fishlight gets cut down in electrical, but Nina's got a response on P4. And it's a 1 versus 2 for Wolves' start to the map. All up to Asa, the new support player. Knows about Tayo, but wow, Tayo just swings with the TCSG, and SCARZ are successful in their first defense.
Beautiful hold on the top floor. Wolves able to trade back and still get control of Rafters, but if you don't have enough utility to create that space or at least make some of those defenders vulnerable in the opposing bomb site, having a little bit of control isn't usually enough for this top floor specifically, and that was a really good heads-up play by Tayo, going for that 1-for-1 gunfight and getting control of Rafters back, just making Wolves' jobs 10 times more complex there. It just didn't seem like, for Wolves, although they were able to play for trades, they couldn't really collapse as a cohesive unit, and that's just because of how strong the anchor game was by SCARZ in that round.
Yeah, beautiful trades from SCARZ. Sometimes, especially in the APAC scene, that's what we see a lack of. That tends to do them in a lot of very individualistic play. So great sign from SCARZ in round number 1. Now we go down to the basement. Now the thing about the anchor game, you know, as we always like to talk about with Labs, very easy to anchor upstairs, very hard to anchor everywhere else. So now this is, I think, where we're really going to see, or going to need to see, the team play from SCARZ shine is on these really big extensions that you're pretty much forced to hold here. Wolves, with the lineup they have, they are going to be going for a full clear. 2 hard breachers, the Ram as well to help break all the floor. We've got Valkyrie now in play from Washoy, so glad to see those cameras up. The Fenrir as well for added dissuasion and the extra info you get from the Dread Mine. So look to see perhaps a couple of C4s come from that Mute or the Cade down on the bomb site.
I think we've seen countless times on Labs how impactful it can be for a defender to remain alive on the top floor in that final minute, especially if it's a full top to bottom clear. Wolves hoping they can get enough sufficient information to realize if there is still a roam presence pardon, or if everyone has fallen back into the bomb site. It seems like there is still a presence playing on that top and middle floor for SCARZ. despite them having, you know, a couple of operators that might indicate they want to focus more on that anchor. At least having the Cade here for that main breach that will force Wolves, because they have no pocket EMPs, to fully clear out this map, and they will do so starting by the IT wall. Pretty common attacking point for really any bomb site you want to clear, just because that impact it has is being a big, you know, cutoff angle across the entire map, and as well getting vertical in crucial areas.
First kill again from Fishlike, this time onto P4, but Washoy, again, just like the round prior, gets almost immediately refragged. Mute exposing himself to those long angles upstairs, almost gets the shot on a Mowgli. But Fishlike finally goes down, and it's a man advantage now for Wolves about halfway through. They've got a lot of this roam now cleared. And Nina looking to get back to the bomb site. Doesn't want to stay upstairs for too long and get picked off solo as well.
That's good coordination there from Wolves, not only getting vertical above to pressure out the people by that storage window, but also having someone push in directly from the horizontal position, shutting down this roam extension. Now Mowgli spots another. That's only 2 defenders left here, and there is still a minute on the board to gather extra vertical with these boogie drones and breaching charges. Not only that, but half the drones are left alive here in Wolves' pockets. So they've got plenty of time as well to gather info and find the right direction to try to isolate either the cage or Fenrir, maybe even dodge some of these red mines, which is really one of the only pieces of util SCARZ has left to shut down Wolves.
And now Rek is dead. It's all up to Tayo. He spots the thermite, drops the case, lines up another on Mowgli as well. Gets to the back of Animus on just 1 HP. But they know exactly where he's at. They know he's cornered, and just 1 bullet is enough to take him out. A heroic attempt from Tayo, but not enough in the end. The roam clear just too strong from Wolves.
Again, beautiful team play in the early round, clearing those power spots near control and storage quite early, especially with the help of that back wall opened up via IT, allowing the Ram to simply breeze their way in. It was a good opening kill for Fishlike, but after that, the rest of SCARZ' roam simply collapsed. And once they saw Tayo completely isolated in the back of Animus, they just simply played off the open hatch, flashed him out, and put the final nail in the coffin for SCARZ' second round. Things tied off now going into the third. And I have to say, plenty of good strengths and weaknesses to look at. Hopefully, for the sake of SCARZ, they can play a little bit more connected there on the defense, because the idea of going for trades was not bad, but just not having any early round presence on that top floor kind of allowed for Wolves to have a very fast and early start to their roam clear, which then led to a very successful take in that first floor.
Once again, a roam going to be necessary for storage. Hopefully, a better one from SCARZ. Again, playing a little bit isolated, right? We saw Fishlike all the way over towards, I don't even know what people call that room. I know, like in our ranks match, we just call that the room on this map. But Fishlike in that like little mud room, I guess, in storage. Him getting picked off. His teammate in what was it in storage also getting picked off. No refrags, so they're just so separated on these roams. So hopefully we see them play a little bit closer to each other here, because if there's one thing that Wolves in the past and EU as a whole tends to do well, it's that refrag game. The trap operators also coming out in full force. They're sticking the Legion, and they're rocking the Ella now from Nina.
Maybe having some Rosemont mines for the early window hop-ins. Could even have some on the Roma extension up above. Again, it kind of disorients anyone who enters in a bit brazenly.
This is crazy.
There's no way Rek is using the mirror window to trick this wall.
This is insane.
Here's the thermite go off. Will this timing work? It could. He hasn't detonated it yet.
Put it down.
Yeah, I don't know what's he doing. I think Rek just missed his opportunity.
He did.
What?
He had
so
the
sad.
thermite dead to rights. I don't know why he didn't put it down. Maybe he thought it was a bait. I don't know.
I guess so. You know, at least he's got it in command now.
Yeah, he definitely heard the thermite. Yeah, I guess at the very least, he still has the mirror window, right? And he was able to use it somewhere else. Warden, the player now tracked by the Deimos, as the plant is already going down from Asa. Washoy has some coverage from above. Fishlike gets traded out, but Asa gets it down for free and is able to escape through the window. Now a 4v4 post plant, and with players outside, this is one of the hardest retakes in the game. This is up there with like a consulate post plant, and you can see Rek and Washoy already dead from P4 trying to retake outside. Tayo able to get one. He's on the counter defuse. Gets off of it as the floor bangs attempt, and Lasmo with the final 2. Wolves with round 3.
Great job by Wolves spotting the gap into the bomb site. Not only that, but it just looked like there was a lack of utility to really indicate if there were to be any presence in the bomb site. So once they got the IT wall opened up, since there was only a mirror window attempted to be used as a tricking device, which didn't even go off, having only that mirror window to stop the wall from being opened up, it was a pretty straightforward attack. You get IT pressure, push back the roam extension just enough to where you get site control. They go 1 for 1 and get the diffuser down. And like you mentioned, with there being so many ways to hold in that post plant, either bunkering in the bomb site and hiding in a corner, playing from down below if you have basement control, going above if there's vertical by IT, or just playing outside the map. Playing right outside that window can also be such a challenge to clear as a defender. If you already have too much on your plate and too many different angles to worry about, that retake is almost impossible, and that's exactly what happened with SCARZ. There was vert presence above by IT, there was someone sitting outside, and for a moment, I think they had a player in the objective still, too. It was just way too much to handle for SCARZ.
Really confused how they were able to just sneak that plant down. Speaking of sneaky, I don't know if you saw, Tayo was kind of like hiding behind the bomb chassis in command. Maybe trying to hide the clash pick. Wolves don't really have anything to directly deal with said clash, except maybe you could consider the Blitz a counter pick, because you can just walk at her, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Although, wait, does the electricity, like, buffer the shield?
I don't think so. Not enough to where you could get a good angle on them.
I can't remember if it does. Because I know it does, like, the kind of, like, the melee buffer, like, when Monty's full extended, like, the little shake. I don't know how big it is when, like, it's a normal shield like Blitz.
Well, maybe we'll get to see just shortly. Wolves hoping that could have been a really awkward engagement there for Wolves. But luckily, with Deadshot still being alive, he can use these Rotero drones to actually open up the wall. Because SCARZ left it soft and opened it up, in fact. The Thermite was not able to do his job to get that breach opened up. Was too vulnerable to a potential gunfight. So instead, you've got Deadshot able to open that up with his gadget. There's a shield outside, too, that he'll most likely have to clear out. Or somebody with frag grenades, like the IQ, for example. Or even the recruit that's being picked by P4, but they also have to deal with those my magnets, unless around the corner you've got that Rotero drone. And off screen, speaking of those nades, the potential not only to deal with utility, but the players surfaced around it, nets an opening kill for Wolves. And to make matters worse, because they have that shield operator, because they have Tayo on Clash, this could be a really dangerous game because they only have 3 people gun up, and now 2 because Lasmo got a kill.
Washoy dead thanks to the angle from the connector breach. Everybody on SCARZ is dead. A flawless attack for Wolves. Every pressure point successfully pushed. SCARZ playing a little bit too forward, getting caught off. The nade kill on the wreck. And that was the first opening pick for Wolves, as well as the first opening pick not traded back.
I mean, that was just a brutal execute done by the offensive side of Wolves. It came down to the wire back in round number 1, where although Wolves had a pretty solid game plan, it just didn't look like they were able to work as a cohesive unit in that round. They spotted the extensions that SCARZ were doing, mostly relying off of shields with only a limited amount of utility because they only had a Wamai to help bolster up those different spots across the map. They'd utilize their Rotero drones to open up new lines of sight and then just start hucking out nades like crazy. That netted 2 kills almost for free. And when SCARZ started to get desperate, you had different bodies lined up, almost holding crossfires, waiting for them to get over-aggressive, looking for those gunfights, which I can't really blame SCARZ for doing that. When you are a gun down with that clash, it's pretty hard to fight for one-on-one gunfights that can give you a second chance in those rounds. And that's another problem that you highlighted too, Harrison. The Clash was just kind of on an island in Electrical. No one was really playing off of her as like a mobile shield or doing anything to punish people for trying to overextend to kill the Clash early. Because she was basically alone throughout that entire round, it allowed for a lot more ground to be covered by Wolves and also punish all the other defenders who didn't have a lot of cover once those shields were gone.
Yeah, more isolationist play from SCARZ. It's like they have their position, but should anything happen, they don't really have any recourse. Lack of tradability has been a common theme through these defenses so far, with the exception of round 1. Now SCARZ are going to pull out the kitchen defense. Definitely the least played site on the map. Clash coming out once again, this time Rek playing her instead of Tayo. She'll probably, again, as usual, we see the Clash typically playing here in lobby. There's nowhere for the attack to go, really, to counter her except at her. So it's a very good position for the Clash to play as long as she's got proper support, which is going to come in the form of Nina upstairs right on the staircase. And I imagine there's someone else upstairs too. Although, no, I see. So Washoi's in sight. Fishlike is over towards games. And I think Tayo is in the basement. So it's just Nina upstairs.
That could be problematic given how effective Wolves' drone work has been. If they spot that one of the most important parts of the map is basically just up for grabs, they might simply take that. And look at where they're all positioned. All 5 attackers on the top floor right now, and they're sending in drones to the building. If Nina can't communicate in time or just no one comes to alleviate that pressure, this could be a pretty straightforward 5 versus 4. And again, you come to that Clash dilemma where you're still a gun down, and if no one can play off of Rek here, that's just another operator kind of down the drain.
And look where he is. There's no one like in the same area code. He's still alone over towards lobby. He's got to back up soon. Look at him, pushed very far forward, and there's no one there to support him. Finally, he's able to spot out one. Luckily for him, Mowgli misses the shot. I think he's just trying to delay the breach for now, knowing that Wolves really want to get this kitchen wall open. Already, Flash is coming in. The nade to follow up forces Rek all the way back down that hallway. Still no support. EMP's coming out as well. The Thermite getting that cafeteria wall open, and SCARZ have an avenue, or sorry, Wolves have an avenue into the site.
P4 still having air jabs as well. Could maybe use them proactively to blast the Clash off her shield and find an easy kill. But currently he's above, doing his job as the flank watch, currently assisting the Ram. So it'll take some time to readjust and go down below. But that's what he's doing right now. He's got his gadget out down the hallway. This could be a big kill, but it might be more or less just to push Rek away, given that he saw the Nomad and had time to react.
Yeah, he was able to back away in time, but like you said, is now going to be unable to push forward. He'll have to find a different way back into the bomb site, and Asa is in! He's on the desk, planting right next to the doorway! He gets it down basically for free. Tayo with the kill. Another follow-up from Nina as well, but the plant has been complete. But most importantly here, not only do SCARZ have the man advantage, okay, I spoke too soon. They no longer have the man advantage. Now they've got it again, and they have this Clash still alive. Rek can go ahead, scout ahead. That's exactly what he's doing. Washoi gets the kill on P4, but they need to flush out Deadshot. He's still up above, and there's only 10 seconds left. The Clash is going to have to figure out a way to cover this planter, but just as Deadshot looks down, Washoi ascends the staircase, and SCARZ have a second round.
Thankfully, SCARZ realizing that they just had to push forward against the execute. They already gave up too much ground, allowing Asa to hop into the bomb site and plant that diffuser. They used the Clash as a bit of a space maker there, sort of a spearhead like you would see on the attack with a Blitz or some sort of aggressive operator like the Ying, who's interestingly enough banned. But being gun up there, just having an extra person alive, and then making sure they eventually kill this 90 player despite having it cost 2 different bodies against Mowgli. That still gave them the opportunity to then play off of natural cover, get that disable on the diffuser, and also still have Washoi go up above. So the Ram had to make a very big gamble, whether they just look down below and hopefully kill the person diffusing at just the right time, or they have to fight the guy above, and that's when the diffuser is disabled by the defense. Not really much you can do there in a 1vx, but great job really upping the ante there by SCARZ, because it almost looked like Wolves were really comfortable just sitting in the bomb site like that, being able to get that diffuser down.
The early round Clash play, I was really confused by again, because he was very, very alone, but in that post plant, using her really well, almost again like that, because the sides kind of flip, and the post plant, they're using the Clash almost like a pseudo Monty. You got that info.
Yeah.
Really well done by SCARZ. Now 1 round away from potentially a tie half. I feel like SCARZ really need it here if they want a chance on the attack. This is going to be a crucial round for them. We're back on command where, I mean, Wolves just suffocated that bomb site in their second go around.
Wolves looking to get some bottom garage control, perhaps. Again, just assisting with that rafters clear. Pretty important part of the map to get in your grasp if you're going for, you know, an IT clear, which is very common for this bomb site in almost any single objective when playing on Nighthaven Labs. And they still have big emphasis on information once again. The Grim and Deimos being reintroduced. The Bandit being Deathmark tracked as well. I believe the Bandit, or pardon the Mute Jammer, ignored it. So he's able just to walk back to the breach and get this battery off. But he walks away for a second time. That's when the Cade Claw reactivates, I would assume. And that now gives an opportunity here for Rek to tussle with the player who's down below, holding this vertical angle through the window. But it gives a brief moment here for an EMP to go off, and the wall is still opened up, but no kill to be collected from either side.
I did like how proactive Rek was, though, knowing what the play was for Wolves. Fighting against Deadshot, figuring, you know what, if I can't get this Bandit battery down, I'll at least try and kill you, if not just damage you, and that's exactly what he did. A wasted scan as well from Deadshot. You see that? Rek was standing on a Mute Jammer, so that absorbs one of those Deimos tracks, and he's only got 2 left.
Not as much info as you'd like. Luckily, you still have those nano swarms. Nade tossed out, I would assume, to try to break the default camera, but it might have just been a little too short, so his rifle will have to do. He drops down below, and maybe Mowgli can just spot some utility from underneath. Maybe just seeing if there's anyone close by. Ooh, breaking this Cade Claw could be huge, allowing another angle into the bomb site from top rafters. It seems like he's just waiting for his teammates to get a little bit closer into the building before he eventually tries to destroy it. But there's 40 seconds left, and everybody on SCARZ has remained alive and at full HP. And we saw how effective SCARZ can anchor when it's this top floor bomb site, Harrison.
It looks like this is going to be a late 5v5 push once again from the Wolves. 30 seconds remaining now. And SCARZ kind of, I think, adjusting to the Wolves' play of, again, that suffocation, that constriction method onto the bomb site, and just playing super passive and super together, and it's going to work for Fishlike and Nina as well. A follow-up, and Fishlike able to get 2-3 kills happen on the Aqua side of the map, leaving Lasmo and P4 in a 2 versus 5. 2 versus 4 now after that kill onto Rek. Diffuser is going to have to be reclaimed, but there's simply no time remaining as Lasmo dies off screen, and SCARZ tie the half.
It's really interesting, too, for Wolves that it took them so long to get Rafters and then rotate to get Aqua presence as well, given the lack of a roam, really, by any members on SCARZ. Sure, they had a light extension, of course. They didn't want to just give up map control for free, but they were very willing to just fall back into sight and play the anchor, and Wolves didn't really pick up on that, so it took them a very long time to get their players inside the building where they needed to be, top Raptors, for example, then that last-minute rotate over to Aqua. So when you hear that Aqua door open up with 20 seconds left, you're like, okay, well, I guess this is one of the 2 attacking points they'll push in from. I'll just sit close to the shotgun since they don't have any utility to clear me out, and that was kind of the original problem back in round number 1, except, you know, the rest of Wolves were a little back and forth during the trade game. That time, it was almost flawlessly won by SCARZ, simply waiting for Wolves to make the first move, and that can be the biggest obstacle on your attacking half, is just finding the right way to make that first move, to find that first entry, or just do anything other than opening, you know, an outside breach, for example, on a map like Labs.
5 seconds to go.
Really interested to see how SCARZ start their attacking half here. Something that we, again, is a common theme with APAC teams is attacking woes. You can win defenses playing individually just because, you know, the pressure is on the attack to make the first move, but if you play like that on your attacking side, your success rate is going to be very low. But with that being said, SCARZ looked fantastic in those last 2 rounds. Honestly, John, they look like a completely different team. I don't know what happened between rounds 4 and 5 to change that, but the adjustment they made, especially in round 6 too, to just play fully passive and not give Wolves any of those, you know, those pre-made angles, the forward positions, it was beautiful. They've got the Monty now in the hands of Nina. They've got the main wall now open, especially thanks to, you know, the C4 that I believe that was, yeah, that Lasmo, or I can't remember. Both Lasmo and Deadshot have both used their C4s, but whoever C4 was kind of opened that IT breach for them. Now the Maverick going for the connector breach. Another C4 being held and ripped by Asa, throws it out, but it missed. Now 3 out of this 4 C4s down, and you have Deadshot dead to Washoy. There is an immediate refrag. The ace, though, already kind of done his job. It's not the biggest deal in the world if he's dead now, just because the main breaches are already open, and it's 2 kills for Rek to respond to the dead Monty before he's finally shut down. But now that Tayo is dead off screen, it's all up to Fishlike, and he can't see Mowgli from the connector head holes. Out of nowhere, everyone on SCARZ is dead.
Wolves able to hold down the fort, similar to SCARZ. Once the offensive side of SCARZ had lost that Montaigne, it did make things a little harder to try and not play against those incredibly long angles. I know we talked about this like at the beginning of the day here, Harrison, on our C stream. But if you're given the opportunity just to kind of sit back and play passive with really long horizontal angles, and your opponents don't have a lot of utility to really close that gap, it can be a very taxing execute into the bomb site. We saw that just now in round number 6, with SCARZ defending, of course. They flatline all of Wolves' attack. And then back in round number 7, looks like Wolves ended up returning the favor. Once they were able to isolate Nina, that was all that they really had in terms of trying to move in past electrical and IT, trying to get their way into the bomb site. So Wolves returning the favor. Now they're back in the lead 4-3.
A Blitz, Jackal, and Dokby being hovered now for SCARZ. Again, knowing how important the roam presence is here on a tank defense. Want to put all of their stock in clearing out these players as quickly and as efficiently as humanly possible. They do end up sticking all 3 of those. They got the buck as well, so once they do have that control, Washoy is going to be able to go to town on that floor and make Wolves, at least the players on directly on the bomb site under, I guess not tank, but on assembly and in nano. See, I remember the name of that room now. Very uncomfortable. I'm so proud of myself.
I am too.
How many people are upstairs? 3, it looks like? I think 3. I think 2. It's a 2-1-2.
All right. Yep, 2 on the second floor, 1 on the first. Other 2 back down below. Here's the Blitz to clear out this roam. Lamslow in a bad position. And then Fishlike just pushing him to the floor and bashing him. There's Rek with another on the dead shot, too. Incredible roam clear. Just, again, spotting an isolated defender that is nowhere near somebody else to trade. And they use the Blitz as a very simple method to close the distance and make him uncomfortable. And that was all in 60 seconds, Harrison. Wolves feel the pressure early on, and they are forced now to leave the bomb site and try to play at least on these fall-off angles by the staircase and now towards pool table, hoping they can at least get 1 or 2 kills for their troubles before falling back down below. But it looks like after the second Logi bomb, they're just beginning to give up.
Yeah, that is the power of the Blitz, John.
Yep.
Being able to not only find out Lazo, but holding that cutoff to basically force Deadshot to either give up and run away or risk his life to save his teammate. That was a fantastic job from SCARZ to make that, to force that tough decision on Deadshot, and he ended up dying for it. C4 also, we saw earlier, being wasted by both P4 and Asa, so no more C4. That might make the Blitz a lot harder to deal with. You do still have Mowgli regenerating the goo mines, and of course, that is also one of a Shield's worst enemies, but do we have the Warden on the top floor? P4 is going for a very long flank as the Warden. Now, he might be heard. He is a 3 armor. They are very loud. And he sprints away from Garage. None of the attack is there. They're mainly concerned with the storage side of things. It looks like there's a flank watch, too. They might be aware of him. 45 seconds left. Again, the main spearhead of this push is going to be the Blitz of Fishlike. In drops P4, still looking for people, but oh my goodness, Nina is still outside the map, and he cuts him down. Rek with 3 kills to give SCARZ a flawless attack and a tie score.
Not much to really say there other than impressive roam clear and discipline by SCARZ on top of that. Again, Fishlike, after getting a bit of info from his teammates, he wastes no time hopping into electrical, killing one of the few people up above. That was last move, and then shortly after Deadshot, you talked about the cutoff angles in that round were phenomenal. It was almost 3 kills scored in just that round alone by cutoff angles, waiting patiently for Wolves to overplay their hand, have them get uncomfortable in the round because they're at a deficit. And I'm really hoping for Wolves' sake on the defense, if we're going to see more blitz in play by SCARZ, that they just work together as a team. Have angles set up for crossfires. Have more fall-off points on that top floor, just so it's easier for you to back away if you feel a little too much pressure in that round, rather than playing in a death spot that doesn't really matter. If you die in pillar all the way in the top floor of that round as a roamer with no one to trade you, and it's been 30 seconds, that doesn't really help the rest of your teammates when they're trying to anchor and waste time and resources.
Yeah, this again, it's like a completely different team from earlier on in the match. No timeout even taken either, so it's not like the coach started hammering some sense into the team. This is just all on their own. They started to figure it out. And SCARZ looking really good on that assembly tank attack. We'll see if they've still got more in them. Wolves, of course, still do have the favored side. I think what you need to do now is, if an APAC team figures out how to play together, they become incredibly dangerous. So what do? What you can do is what you do against pretty structured teams like DZ and SSG, right? Try to throw that huge, annoying wrench into the attack's plan, because they're so focused on just trying to play as a team, they're probably not going to be able to adjust on the fly as well as, you know, teams who are normally taking top positions in the international tournament. So I would love to see Wolves either start forcing SCARZ to problem solve with tons of utility, or just start getting crazy. It seems like the plan right now, at least for Storage Control, is the former. They've got Fenrir, they've got Mira, they got the Valkyrie too, so they're gonna have plenty of info. No IQ on the board for SCARZ, so those black eyes might be a little bit harder to track down, but they are still sticking this Bandit Dokkaebi combo that worked beautifully in the last round. Speaking of the Dokkaebi, dude, if I was, who is that on the Warden? P4? Dude, if I was P4, I'd be pissed. That guy was still outside with 35 seconds left, but the Blitz is inside, able to get the kill right before he's blown up by Asa. However, it makes enough room for Tayo to get into the bomb site and get the plant down. And now one of the hardest retakes in the game has commenced for Wolves, and they're now down a body.
Tough spot for Wolves once again. Logi Bomb finally will dissipate. It's up to Deadshot to try to recontrol IT, work this vertical to his advantage, whilst the rest of SCARZ just comfortably sit outside and play for time. There's only 20 seconds altogether on this diffuser. Nice shot landed by P4, and it looks like Lazmu will try to attempt a long arm. It seems like there's vertical presence too from down below, but that won't do anything. There's no one down here, P4. Nina's good for one. There's the finisher by Rek, and Mira is out of time and nowhere close to the bomb site. SCARZ once again spotting a gap in the bomb site and using Blitz just to brute force their way into the objective, allowing that plant to go down. And like we've talked about earlier, Harrison, this is one of the toughest bomb sites to unveil once that diffuser goes down.
Yeah, because there's really only 2 spots that you need to hold when you have the window plant. Just sit one guy outside, one guy rafters, and then the others can do whatever the hell they want to try and support, and that's exactly what happened for SCARZ. I think they even had multiple people outside that window in the post plant, and then multiple people holding down garage and rafters. I don't really know what P4's plan was there, going down into the basement with the C4, maybe try to arc it through the window to get anyone playing close, but SCARZ now, for the first time since round number 1, John, they have a lead. They're up 5-4. And now Wolves probably going to go back to command now. It's the one bomb site that they've been successful on the defense so far. They are going to go back up there. We've got a slight shift in the operator lineup too from round number 7. No longer worried about bandit tricking. They're just going to try and stick a Cade Claw on it, call it a day, and they've added now a Frost and a Cap Can rather than the Mute and the Sentry. So putting a little bit more stock, or the Fenrir as well, I think is also different instead of the, oh no, because they had Bandit and Cade last time, so I guess Fenrir in place of Bandit. So putting a lot more stock into those traps. However, I don't know, I like it and I don't like it, because one, traps are really good. Trap meta is incredibly powerful right now, especially when you're against an inexperienced team. But I think SCARZ are showing you that despite being a lot less experienced than Wolves, they still have what it takes to hang, and dropping the Mute is just going to make it even easier for SCARZ to collect info, and we've seen how well they can act off of that info in rounds 8 and 9.
They have other forms of info as well, not just the drones, but again, Grim being brought out for what feels like the 100th time today inside of EWC. He's such a powerful operator currently in the meta because having all 5 of those gadgets can provide plenty of different info. C4 shot midway through. It's destruction. Good timing there for SCARZ. Unfortunate missed opportunity there by Wolves, and I'm not even too sure if it would have found that kill because it got stuck at the very top of that wall. But regardless, you mentioned the lack of mute. This will allow SCARZ to drone freely, and will they check in meeting? Yes, they do. The surprise attack does not work out, and wow, that's Mowgli dumpstered. Instant reaction there by Nina. They spot the player in meeting and instantly hunt him down.
Incredible. Again, drone work from SCARZ. Another problem that a lot of inexperienced APAC teams have is efficient use of their information, but SCARZ are looking really, really good right now. Probably just about as good as we saw in their first LAN appearance back in, I believe it was back in Copenhagen, where they made top 8. As this match has progressed, SCARZ have looked better and better as maybe they're just settling down and getting back into the swing of things, but there's no response from Wolves. This is the first time all map that an entry has not been immediately followed up by an additional kill or traded back by the team suffering from the opening death. So a long 5 versus 4 now for Wolves to suffer through as there's destruction happening from Washoy. Ace Charge is going out on that connector wall, and P4 is going to try for a lucky play in the corner, but Washoy finds him from downstairs. Now it's a 2-man lead for SCARZ, looking to make their way into the bomb site. Lasmo gets the first kill for his team, but instantly refragged. Asa's down on the floor. Deadshot is the last remaining player stuck in rafters, and SCARZ still have a whole 30 seconds to play with. They can taste map point here. Reminder, this is Wolves' map pick. They opted for Labs next Chalet. That's SCARZ' pick. It seems like Deadshot does have info on the players coming Aqua, but there's a drone staring at him. SCARZ have all the info in the world, and they are on map point.
And that was a big key successful point for SCARZ in this series so far. It's the intel game. This is probably the 3rd time we've talked about it in a row, Harrison, but the way that they set up not just their drone work for Nina to get that opening frag on a Mowgli, but on top of that, both Washoy and Nina playing together as the Grim and Buck combination. One of the most painful spots to clear out from that top floor when you're attacking command and server has got to be Pillar, even with the con wall opened up, right? There's so much natural cover, and there isn't a lot you can do unless you have grenades, obviously, to push him out, which in that case, I don't think SCARZ really did. What they instead provided themselves with to clear it out were the Nano Bees and Buck skeleton key from down below. So you are constantly getting red pings back and forth. And on top of that, the horizontal plus vertical pressure, it forced all of Wolves back out of the bomb site. And whilst that was happening, they were shut down. That was, again, perfect team play, not only setting up people individually to find kills, but give almost everybody on SCARZ an equal chance at stopping Wolves from slowing down their execute. It literally came down to a Frost, I think it was P4 again, just down to the Frost, who was in rafters and had 4 different angles from Aqua, the open breach, and even E-Box to be concerned about at the exact same time.
And the implications of winning that round, obviously, map point incredibly important for SCARZ as it always is, but you take away the only successful site that Wolves had this half so far. Now they have that difficult decision to make. Do they go back to assembly tank where they got flawless, or back to storage control where SCARZ were able to get a 4v4 plant down after a blitz rush? At the very least, they don't have to deal with that blitz, but there's now a Brava, a Monty, and a Deimos on the board. So again, all in on this information from SCARZ.
A lot of open areas. You can have these default cams be turned defensive favor, pardon, into more of an attacker side of this utility. Oh, and the cap cans. That could be something interesting to note as well, since there hasn't been a lot of utility that the defense have really brought out. You've got those default and bulletproof cameras plus EP traps. Wow, Deadshot. A little too close for comfort there against that skeleton key. He's forced to back away. He takes the walk of shame back into command center. I think he hears that shield clanking just behind him. A death mark track will be attempted on him, but it's failed since he's by a mute jammer, I believe, or it just got turned off. There's Wreck with the opener. Mowgli's quick to respond, and this Montaigne, sure, he's alone right now, but there's no one to assist. Big play from Lasmu. Thankfully, He finishes off the Montaigne. His teammate is down, but here's the resurgence from Nina. It looked close for Wolves to maybe be in the lead for this round, but with the Kapkan still being injured, it's an even 2 versus 2.
And the Fenrir is so low, but Fishlight can't connect the shots from up above. The Buck tries to kill Asa, but only succeeds in lighting him up. The Kapkan finally going to be dealt with by Nina. Case is now recovered. The things going for him right now are the HP and time. Asa 2 bullets away from death. Mowgli just 1. Over a minute. Now just eclipsed. A minute to play with. But does Nina have any info? He's got 1 drone. It's somewhere on the map. Or sorry, it's back in his pocket. Now he throws it out. Looking to see if there's anyone directly in storage. He does see the player in games. Might look to isolate here as he drops down over towards rafters. The Warden very far afield. Over towards that aqua hallway. Bulletproof cam dealt with, but it can still call out for sound. And in the meantime, Fenrir has retaken up top. Now trying to look for this player planting. It was just a bait from Nina. Stepping off. Maybe trying to find a safe spot to go for it. He could find a corner with no vert. But again, operating off of no info, and his time has fully bled away. We're down to just 10 seconds left, and he's going to have to try and stick this plant. Asa should be able to see him from the doorway. Shots start to come through, but Asa gets dusted. 3 seconds left. He has to try and stick, but no time remaining. Too paranoid about Mowgli, but he's missing. He can't see him. The ping is gone. Finally, with the last bullet, too close for comfort. You can see Mowgli breathe a sigh of relief there. The ping just a little bit off.
Oh my god, when I saw his arm shuffle, I thought he ran out of ammo and was switching to his pistol.
Yeah.
I think I was more terrified than Mowgli in that 1v1. Good god. Having that thing just slightly be off could have been the make or break from SCARZ winning their opponent's map pick and sending us to Chalet, a map that Wolves have already lost in the past a handful of times, or Wolves receiving a second chance in their first map of this best of 3 series. Good call there by Wolves, realizing there is not enough manpower for anyone to play above, so it might be wise with that vertical already established and info in the site to just simply rotate and play above rather than giving a fair 50-50 gunfight. That did really make things challenging for the Buck. Sure, the Warden ended up being shut down and it was a 1 versus 1, but again, that took a lot of time to set up. And now Wolves will be granted the opportunity to go back to the only other bomb site they've been successful on, which is Command and Server. With a slightly different lineup. Again, we talked heavily about that info game via SCARZ. Now they're reintroducing Mute and even having a Pulse played here as well. I think this lineup is definitely better than what we've seen before, and maybe the Pulse plus extra emphasis on Nitro Cells, since they now have 3 in total, could more or less be for the fact there's been a lot of shields in presence here by SCARZ, both the Montaigne and Blitz.
Monty coming out once again from SCARZ too. I do like the mirror windows from Asa. It's a nice adjustment. Try to keep those shield operators at bay. The Pulse also way down in the basement. P4 is going to be able to call pretty much, I think, all 3 floors. I'm pretty sure it's similar to like how, right, like how on old Consulate you'd sit the Pulse in the basement and you'd be able to see all the way up through. I'm pretty sure it's a similar situation here on Labs. I think you can do that. Bravo once again in play from Rec 2. And you got to wonder, if the Bravo is able to get his drones into the bomb site, could he have denied that info, right? Could Nina have gotten that plant down without the cam? It's all those little micro plays are always some of those fascinating parts about the game.
And maybe even giving away what kind of rotations Wolves were doing there, given the fact they were kind of moving between control and storage quite frequently, trying to dodge the Buck from that first floor. Logi Bomb goes off. I'm just hoping to guarantee no one's playing down below in that first floor, but in fact, there's a deeper level to this rabbit hole that the Pulse is currently playing behind. That's P4, Cardiac Sensor, out and deployed, trying to spot him on that first floor, but there's the opener for SCARZ once again. It's Washoy getting rid of the Frost, and speaking of those bear traps, one's located by Rafters. The Mira had just spotted wall soon to be opened up, but I think there's a Mute Jammer stopping it currently. C4 tossed out, but luckily SCARZ can dodge it, and they've already got Raptors control, and their spearhead of the Montaigne is still alive.
Mowgli able to answer onto Tayo, the Maverick, but again, his job pretty much already done. Fishlight looking for a backstab, but doesn't see him just yet, is worried about the flank, and is peeking it on ADS. Washoy at the very least still equalizes at 3 apiece, and Asa's dead on the site. P4 is going to have to try and do something with this cardiac sensor, and C4 from below. Washoy on the ground. Lasmo confirms. But now this player on site has to deal with the Monty. There's nothing he can do. Nina knifes him to the ground. And P4, still armed with this C4, is going to need to find a kill. But he's worried there's a Fenrir mine hacked by that Brava on the Aqua stairs. That's going to be able to call out his position. Now able to deal with it. But Nina has rotated over towards the hard floor. P4 knows it. And there's the kill from Rek. SCARZ with round 12. Down 1-3. Come back to win it 7-5 and take Wolves' own map choice away.
Off the back of some incredible awareness and team play by SCARZ. Again, when they were attacking, they spotted a lot of openings that Wolves just kind of allowed to happen. Someone being just overexposed, not having a fall-off point on that roam, not having a crossfire from a teammate. General lack of team play altogether on the roam extension a handful of times, Harrison, and that cost far too many bodies. A large majority of these rounds, just period, were SCARZ winning that opening gunfight. Fish in particular had an incredible showing with opening kill success, and I've got to commend all of SCARZ as well, just following his lead and refusing to let Wolves recover. It almost always felt like they were at some sort of massive man disadvantage, you know, excluding a couple of rounds on attack where they had a pretty good advantage of the 3-1 split like we're seeing right now, but all of a sudden things just kind of clicked, and they didn't even need a timeout to recover from that deficit either, Harrison.
Yeah, I think that's what the amazing thing was, too. The players pretty much figured that out all on their own, not needing the timeout from the coach, spotting these opportunities and taking them in stride. I mean, this was one of the most brilliantly played rounds with that Blitz walking in, the immediate follow-up from the Thermite. I mean, even the round that looked like it was impossible to win still came close for Nina, especially because of this kill right there on Asa, who just got a little bit too aggressive. SCARZ with a huge win on Labs as we now move on to their map pick, Chalet, which SCARZ are 4-2 on. It's one of their highest win rates on any map. In fact, John, in 4 wins and 2 losses, they have a positive 20 round differential, which is pretty incredible compared to the Wolves, who are negative on this map. Yeah. They're 2-3. They're most recently losing it to G2 in the closed qualifier, 7-2.
Yeah, the fact they let this map kind of slip through is a bit concerning, because even on Nighthaven Labs, which also is a bit concerning that they opted to pick this map, I gave them devil's advocate, figuring, you know, it's a map they're comfortable on, and maybe after a few hours they had some time to kind of reset their play style and hope for the best against their new opponents of SCARZ. But the overlying issues that they had on their own map pick, a map they should be better on theoretically, now going into territory they usually have a little bit less success on compared to their counterpart who are positive on the map. This definitely does not look good for their standings, and they might be knocked out of EWC just shortly, Harrison, unless they can change something drastic during our break.
Yeah, again, Chalet, a really, really good map for SCARZ. Historically, Wolves are going to need to turn it around on map 2. Hopefully can give us a different look. Again, their most recent play, 7-2, lost to G2, and even before that in the LCQ they played it against ENCE and lost it in overtime. So actually I'm pretty surprised that they let Chalet through instead of because they ended up banning Wolves ended up banning Border Sky Cafe. Border, obviously they're auto banned, but Skyscraper also not really a map that SCARZ plays a lot. But I guess Wolves also just really not confident there as they're 1-3 on Sky. But either way, we'll be back with map number 2, Chalet. What could be an upset in the making, John, just after this short break. Welcome back. Map number 2 on the horizon for Wolves versus SCARZ. And John, SCARZ taking away Wolves' map pick and now going to a map that, at least the stats say, heavily lean towards SCARZ' favor.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of similarities can be drawn between the map of Nighthaven and now what we're going to see as well for Chalet. So I think the stats are going to paint a really impactful picture as to why we think SCARZ might take this series 2-0. Again, we talked a lot about the entry game. That was really impressive by a large majority of SCARZ. Fish specifically went pretty positive against that. And there's just a general lack of trades as well by Wolves to Harrison. It was always like they were playing at a disadvantage, like their backs were just against the wall on a map that they should theoretically be better on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even though Wolves a lot of times were getting those trades, I mean, just looking back at my notes, 12 rounds, Wolves had 1 opening kill.
Ouch.
And that was Mowgli onto Wreck in round 4. Fish like 5-0. Nina 1-0. Washoy 3-0. So many of these. Wreck is the only guy with an opening death on the whole squad, and so many times, especially for SCARZ, they were getting these follow-ups right after their entry too. So they did an incredible job that map. Again, we just talked about how it was like the longer the map went on, the better SCARZ team play became, and it's really scary now for Wolves heading into Chalet. You know, you mentioned the parallels between Chalet and Labs. 3-tiered map relies pretty heavily on your offsite holds, right? On Snowmobile, you kind of have to roam across the whole map. Bar and dining, you gotta hold the upstairs. Master, we even see teams extend all the way towards the library side of things. So Chalet can sometimes live and die off of your extensions. I will say, though, I think the key difference between Chalet and Labs is that it's a little bit easier to anchor on Chalet, just because the bomb site's not as destructible and exposed to those operators like Ram and Buck. So a little bit different, but still very similar themes, which work very heavily in SCARZ' favor. I mean, we just talked before the break, right? SCARZ with a plus 20 round differential, going 4-2, and Wolves being negative.
It's a very hard breach focused map, kind of similar to Nighthaven. On top of that, you also have a lot of cutoff angles that can be held pretty easily by attackers too. Again, really want to harp on Wolves. There was just a lot of individual play that kind of just didn't amount to anything. They need to be able to establish those power positions we talked about, not only on the attack, but also defense as a team. If they are not going to be able to play as a team against SCARZ, where really any of their players can, confirm those entries on isolated opponents, or just be able to get decent map control at a fair amount of time, since they weren't really stalling out in a lot of their attacks, Harrison. They were very fast and willing to capitalize on those gaps. Wolves will probably not see the light of day on Clubhouse, which is really unfortunate because we did expect this game and this series to be very close. Obviously, 7-5 is a really close and competitive scoreline. It was just some of the rounds that Wolves had lost just seemed a little odd, and it didn't seem like they really were able to change much during the matchup.
Yeah, SCARZ were using their info really, really well, and we kind of have to call into question Wolves starting with the mute and then rounds 9 through 11 gradually moving away from him, whereas that is SCARZ strength. I'm surprised Wolves didn't double down to try and deny that info, because a lot of the aggressive plays that we saw SCARZ going for and those really coordinated pinches are impossible without the impeccable drone work they had. So maybe we'll see Wolves adjust a little bit better here on Chalet. The last time they won it was back at SI, actually, against Damwon and against Bliss, and they haven't won it since. SCARZ looking really good heading on to Chalet. A huge map from, I believe it was Fishlike, I think, did the best on the squad. Yeah, and they actually Nina 10-6, I believe, or 11-6 by the end of that map, playing a lot of supportive operators and especially getting really active on the Monty too. Chalet, though, I think Wolves can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. Chalet, you can run Monty. He's not the best, though, just because so many of those areas that you're going to be pushing a Monty into, very C4 susceptible.
Say, the Ying seems to be just more of a comfort ban established by Wolves. That's now a second time they've had her removed. Deimos to follow soon after by SCARZ this time. They didn't really bring out a lot of Deimos, if I recall correctly, while they were attacking on Nighthaven, and with this also being a very destructible map, makes sense to remove him. And wow, that's got to be a target ban. Frost on Chalet. We did see a large emphasis of Frost on Nighthaven by Wolves. That was kind of later in the second half while they were defending, trying to figure out, maybe if we bring more trap operators, that could slow down the Montaigne presence and overall just the defensive woes that we had against SCARZ attack. Didn't really seem to do the trick, but I guess there being more windows on this map compared to Nighthaven, SCARZ just don't want to deal with that potential issue, and Wolves will close things out with a Cade ban. So a couple of crazy ops sandwiched between two very basic operators taken off the board, but that still leaves plenty of important operators you can use on your defensive extensions. Lesion has been really a staple operator for quite some time now in Pro League, Harrison, and someone that hasn't been introduced kind of new, but someone who's a little bit better, in my opinion, to a recent change is Melusi. She has the potential to wield 5 bulletproof gadgets if you have her 4 Banshees active, and if you run a bulletproof camera. It can be a total nightmare having 5 different areas where you can not only provide info for your team, but also force your opponents to clear it out. And yeah, the P4 is running a bulletproof, so I'm sure SCARZ are going to have so much fun dealing with that and Amazon. It's gonna be a very fun round.
In terms of the utility they're bringing, they're gonna have maybe nades on the Finka and the Lion. You could bring that Gone 6 on the Capitao too. Oh, wait, does Finka? No, Finka doesn't have nades, right? She's got a Gone. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, she's dead.
Goodbye.
Unfortunate.
Mowgli getting a little bit of revenge for last map with the impeccable opening kill record that SCARZ had.
Like you mentioned, those adrenaline surge is now gone. Potential of nades is also off the board. Seems like she was the only operator wielding them since Lion has flashbangs. I would imagine maybe SCARZ will still try to go for a fast clear into the objective with the help again of those Capitao, asphyxiating, and smoke bolts. There is a Warden, of course, to worry about, but maybe you can flush him out with at least a Blitz just getting in his face, perhaps, or some sort of interesting lurk set up here by Nina as they're already inside a dining room. Yeah, this could be a very easy play to work off of since the Blitz as well is also by that single window, waiting for the Lion to get a bit closer.
Nina creeping up. This could be a fearsome 1-2 punch. There's Nina with the kill on Lasmo. The Blitz accidentally repels. Is finally able to get his way in, but now killed by P4. unfortunate sticky key maybe on his vault, but at the very least, there's 2 kills for SCARZ to respond. They hold the man advantage. Now a 1 versus 3 as Deadshot descends the staircase to try and retake the site. Fishlike is in the bomb site. He's taking the goo mine out of his foot. The plant is going down. C4 goes out, but it's way too far. Fishlike confirms the post plant, and the attackers get out of dodge. Another very difficult post plant to win, and Deadshot can't even see Nina in the middle of the bomb site. Although a little bit weird in the mid round there for SCARZ, still a very confident round win.
Yeah, the idea was still there, obviously. Again, great info game by SCARZ in the early round. They noticed, wow, there's no one playing by dining. Let's just take that. And instead of trying to waste a lot of time clearing out the top floor, sometimes in life it's best to just ignore the annoying parts of your life. So they just completely forget about the top floor and go direct. The Blitz part of their play obviously backfired, but again, Nina, they've got that DMR. They've got this really long hallway. They can look down from Fireplace, a huge area that can cover a lot of different ground depending on where you're positioned at. And from dining, you look right at the snowmobile staircase. So he shuts down the 2 people that were walking in from that direction. And after that, the rest of his teammates just simply barreled their way into the bomb site, I think from the bar window, since that top floor presence kind of backed away.
Yeah.
So again, really cohesive execute by SCARZ. That can be kind of a huge issue, Harrison, is when you want to go for a fast take like that, some of your teammates just simply aren't ready because they're expecting your original plan, which is to go for more of a util dump composition and deal with the roam extension. But almost every single time SCARZ have gone for a fast play, everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, that's what's been really cool. Everyone is in the thick of it. And again, even though we had that funny little mishap with the Blitz, just the timing between the window jump in and the bar hall push and everything just coming together so beautifully for SCARZ. Now we look ahead to dining the other middle floor site here for Wolves. A little bit harder to do what SCARZ did on this site just because of how much more top floor pressure there tends to be on a dining defense. I wonder too.
10 seconds left before
So obviously we'll have to wait to see how aggressive SCARZ decide to play the rest of their attacking half. But I wonder if the Frost isn't a target banner. I wonder if it's to allow them to just simply like hop through the windows.
Yeah, Frost is a fairly common pick on this map, period. So that's not a horrible point to bring up at all, Harrison. And secondary utility with the bulletproof camera and deployable shield. You've got a shotgun as well to make kill holes and rotates. ACOG with a low recoil gun. She does have a little bit of everything that you kind of want as a defensive operator, so it's not the worst thing at all. Changing context of this map makes a lot of sense. You see a lot of teams nowadays just hop in through bathroom window with like a Ying or some sort of flash-heavy operator just to clear out the top floor in like 30 seconds flat, and a Frost can shut that down almost immediately. Given the style of how SCARZ like to play, I wouldn't be shocked if they continue this same very aggressive, get in the face of Wolves play style that has not only won them countless rounds on Nighthaven Labs, but also has now gained them a round win on their map pick of Chalet.
And look at their lineup too, rocking Grim, Zofia, Glaz, plenty of smoke presence, and of course just Wolves luck, right? The moment that they bring 4 smokes at a Glaz, they drop the Warden for a
yeah,
for a sentry. Couple smokes already coming out. End up being upstairs to facilitate the solar take, and as they do that, Tayo jumps right into West Main, tries to fight the Legion, almost takes his head off, but there's no answer for Asa just yet. Tayo bleeding away thanks to the damage from the goo mine, but Rek is in the site with him. They're getting the plant down. Wolves have no idea. Rek sneaks it through. SCARZ with a beautiful execute right under the nose of the defense. Fishlike, the first casualty for the attack. P4 follows it up onto Tayu, and all of a sudden the man count has swung in the favor of Wolves. But they've only got 20 seconds to get on this case. Lasmo trying to bait it. A player tucked in the corner right by ranked window. Deadshot kills Nina. It's all up to the ace of Washoy, and he can't do anything about the case. A beautiful retake from Wolves as they all converge on the attackers stuck inside the bomb site.
And again, for SCARZ, it was a great start to the round. However, big problem there is they had no response for the hatch presence. They had no response for the retake. There was no one on trophy window holding the cutoff for this exact drop that gets Mowgli a kill. There was no one playing on the master window repel. There were a couple of steps that were unfortunately missed there by SCARZ, getting into the thick of it towards the bomb site. And again, with there still being a bit of a roam presence, your player by Fireplace has to not only worry about the 3 people stacked up in the objective because no one's above, but also someone now who's watching your flank as well. So that just becomes a very taxing post-plant position to hold as an attacker at such a lengthy deficit. But great job on Wolves to almost immediately acknowledge the play that SCARZ were going for and shutting it down so they could not set up in the bomb site, because that initial clear was fantastic, and SCARZ tried playing off of that solar control to then drop down into trophy and plant the diffuser. That part they got successfully done, but after that, setting up cutoff angles outside, that was the part they were cut short of because of Wolves' fast actions.
Here's where SCARZ now start to bring out that Monty from Fish-like. Plenty of utility to support the Monty too, with the Grim and Cavitao both being played. So doubling down on that kind of displacement utility. We've got the Brava too, incredibly powerful operator on this map. I talk about it all the time. You don't even necessarily need to get, in order to get the most use out of her, hack any like Defender gadgets. You can just get the 3 default cams on blue, on top fireplace, and in solar. But there's actually a bulletproof that the Brava can hack to watch lobby, getting the default and the Malusi as well. She's got 99% of, if not all, the utility that Wolves have dedicated towards preventing a bar door walk-in.
Now the polar opposite will be used because of those Banshees. If Wolves need to retake from above going back down below, those Banshees will give away their intentions, or at the very least just slow them down. But speaking of sluggishness, that is the opposite of how SCARZ have been playing so far. There's another opener fast into the round. Minute just now burned away, and that's in the Solus as well. I'd say it's a pretty fair trade between P4 and Tayo, since you also lose those Grim Bs. But now, oh my god, Mech is just in the building with a Montaigne walking up fire stairs. They just cleared out Mez in 10 seconds flat.
Fish-like in the face of the defense, and Nina with the cutoff to kill Deadshot. And now the Azami's got to escape too, and guess who's waiting for him? It's Nina, but the Kiba will block off the Azami at least for now, but he just punches it down because Mowgli can't turn his back on the Monty, and SCARZ with an incredible attack to retake the lead.
And again, those cutoff angles, we mentioned it before the broadcast, Harrison. How did Nina secure those 2 kills? It was playing on a cutoff angle, waiting for the Montaigne to make someone push back into Nina's line of sight. And that is where they score 2 separate kills, stops the retaker, even a rotate altogether. I mean, it was still like a roam clear actively happening, just in reverse order. Instead of starting your clear by Solar, then going to Mez, Monty started Mezzanine and pushed everyone back into Piano and Solar. That is one of the craziest clears I have seen on the top floor of Chalet in a long time. But again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wolves have been really unable to stop these aggressive shield plays numerous times now, and this continues to allow SCARZ to find a lot of gaps in roam extensions, and also just finding more round wins on the attack, where Wolves should probably be trying to find as many defensive wins as they possibly can, since they've already had a pretty lackluster attack on their own map.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, that was one of like the most impressive, like all 5 people constantly doing stuff rounds that I've ever seen. Because you had the cutoffs being held by Nina, the Monty forcing them into the cutoffs. You had the Tayo even getting the opening pick to help facilitate that Monty clear and make it a little bit easier. You had Washoy helping that Monty pressure out those players, and that was all facilitated by the Brava play we saw earlier in the round.
Yep, no
hacking
Banshees
both
fire.
the cams and getting rid of the Banshee.
Yep.
So that Monty just walked through lobby and sprung up. I mean, like, all the little stuff that SCARZ is doing and how it all comes together. This is easily the best I've seen them play so far. It's truly incredible. I would have loved to see the I might have to go back and watch that phase game they had. That must have been a treat too with how they're playing right now. Monty coming back out once again, but this time Tayo is the one running it. Washoy on the Thermite opening up that red wall, trying to get rid of the anti-breach here so they can create the long angle. Wreck with the first kill, instantly traded back, but Nina to reclaim the man advantage before he's instantly traded back too. So Wolves kept in the game thanks to those kills. Walking in is Washoy, but again, Fish-like has a trade, and Tayo Tayo takes matters into his own hands, gunning down Asa after ADSing. 27 HP still up, and Deadshot can do nothing about the shield staring him in the face. Tayo able to back way off to get the plant down. The cutoff is being held from Red. Post plant now against Amante, 1 versus 1, as Deadshot takes out Fishlike. Plenty of time for Deadshot to try and get around this shield. Only 1 bullet is required to put Tayo down. And this Monty is playing beautifully, playing Ring Around the Rosie, toying with his food. 20 seconds remaining, and Tayo is just begging Deadshot to do something. The shotgun out in desperation. 10 seconds remaining now. Tayo doesn't take the bait. He drops the shield and backs away. This is perfect Monty play. 8 seconds left. He can do nothing as the mountain melees him down. SCARZ with a 3-1 lead.
Good God, SCARZ has been impeccable in this best-of-3 series, refusing to let their foot off the gas pedal and even just laughing in the faces of Wolves, planting in the bomb site where that hatch is used against them. They simply walk past it with a Montaigne shield and go to Pillar to plant as well. Phenomenal trades yet again by SCARZ, and again, keeping that Montaigne alive was the critical moment. They found a small opening to try and dodge some of those impact grenades and get around the hatch, which was the last line of defense. And although Habana had been gunned down due to throwing some flashbangs and dying to the sentry, that's still a 1 versus 1 post plant for a Montaigne with no utility to counter them. That's one of the best positions you can ever be in your life as a Montaigne. There was frankly nothing that the defense could do except hope that the Montaigne plays that incorrectly, and Tayo, he simply didn't.
Yeah, I mean, not only did he play perfectly, but that plant spot too. It was perfect for him to play around that doorway. By the time he got back towards connector, I mean, that was the round 1 right there. Impossible for Deadshot to get him out. SCARZ now up 3-1 on what is considered to be the more challenging side for Siege as a whole, and especially for APAC. They have shown strides of improvement so far, and Wolves, though incredibly competitive on map number 1, again, Chalet, not the best history for them. And I fear losing that first map is really putting them in the disadvantage here, because SCARZ are displaying an incredible understanding of Chalet.
Wolves have got to feel the pressure right now. If they don't find a lot of success here on their defensive half, this could tell a very gruesome tale of how SCARZ not only took their own map pick, but gave a good reason to maybe leave Chalet off the drawing board for any teams facing them in the lower bracket before they qualify for playoffs. Plenty of info established once again by SCARZ. Maybe looking to get this bathroom window reopened up if they can remove that Kiba barrier. And so far, large majority of SCARZ, they're focusing yet again on this top floor. Even having the Grim playing up above. Oh my God, all of these red pings. Rack capitalizes on it. There's a response by Wolves, but they're still behind by 1. And it seems like SCARZ at least know there's 1 player by Mez. Both these defenders stacked up off the bomb site. Here comes the flood from SCARZ, just waiting by the office. Deadshot looking to assist his teammate. They know he's close by the rotate, but there's another pushing past him from the K9 balcony. And now you've got to back away, but you leave Deadshot for dead, quite literally. It's only P4 now in a 1 versus 3, hoping that they don't know where he is, playing beneath bar. Vertical being established. SCARZ have a minute 15, Harrison, and they are taking their sweet time to confirm they can get this plant down and hold a comfortable post position. But it won't even matter. Fish across the map shuts down the last player on Wolves. That is now 3 rounds and 4 rounds after that on their attacking side. 3 rounds in a row from SCAR.
Yeah.
And 4 altogether. These guys, I have nothing else to say, Harrison. They have just been playing perfectly this first half.
Absolutely. I mean, 3 rounds in a row. Now nowhere is safe. Do Wolves try Master? They've lost every other site. Do they take a gamble on Master Bedroom, what is widely considered to be the worst site on the map? I mean, that round, again, it was just SCARZ pushing in from every direction at once, and that was the theme on Labs too. The trades, a flurry in the mid-round going back and forth, but SCARZ just eking out that one-man advantage and converting into a round win. Halfway through that round, John, I forgot it was a dining defense.
Yeah.
I thought it was master because of how much action and how many bodies and how much utility was being dedicated to that top floor, but it's like what we saw, what was it, from DZ in the first game, right? Just take all of your bodies. If you want an objective done, take everybody and just overwhelm those defenders on that top floor or wherever they're playing off-site. Now it comes down to this. We're back on bar. SCARZ hungry for this 5-1 half. They've got the Brava once again. That's worked out so well for them so far. And Washoy shuts down Mowgli, attempting a spawn peek once again on bar, just like round number 1. And SCARZ saying they're not going to get fooled again.
Zombie gone as well. That is one of your only util-focused operators, and really the only one that is not countered by Brava. We saw how impactful those clutch drones were late, or not even late round, but early round to help assist the Montaigne get fireplace control, then to work their way up mezzanine, because there were no Banshees slowing them down, no default cameras to give away any sort of information to help assist those defenders. And I guess no one even heard him either, so that also helped too, but Wolves already down an entire player, and again, pretty much our only util op. Yeah, this does not look good. SCARZ are just, they are just manhandling Wolves right now. It's flawlessly closed out in this half, almost completely via the round count too. 5-1 against Wolves, and now they get to go on defense. How are Wolves going to respond?
SCARZ are just dripping confidence right now. They are on a roll, 5-1 half after their attack. That cannot be stressed enough. After their attacking half of Chalet, after Wolves selected to start on defense. At least we still see some smiles from the Wolves players, so they're still in this mentally at least. They're not down on themselves. And as long as you're still in there mentally, you have a chance to come back no matter what. Siege is a game where it ain't over till it's over. So we got to see, is this just an attacker-sided Chalet? Can Wolves make it happen? They got to try and bring us back, likely to overtime first. I don't see them taking 6-0, but another 5-1 half is possible. And SCARZ doing what Wolves did not dare to do and starting with a master defense.
Maybe hoping the Mez extension is enough. Oh, wow, even a mirror window in box to look down at the office balcony double window. Don't see that one every day, but now your player by Mez can be a little more comfortable, only having to focus about library pressure, obviously, and maybe someone by Ivy holding a different cutoff. Even have Washoy playing down below on this Legion. Wolves' info game has sometimes been a little off. If they just don't drone inside a games room, this could be a free kill for SCARZ just waiting to happen. But so far, no one's tried pushing in that button. No one's looking to challenge him just yet. Now Goo Mine's deployed. Maybe the Legion will just back off and go elsewhere.
We saw SCARZ doing a lot of that on labs, just especially early in the game, just being somewhere random and finding a kill, a run out. Oh, he gets dead shot before he gets on the roof. A gamble play, but it works out beautifully, and that's Lion. That is the only operator that could potentially keep these SCARZ players in place gone.
He must have heard the rappel, and like you said, taking a gamble. He got a lot more than he bargained for. And one of the pristine operators you can have for info in this round is dead. I think only one line scan was called out, and there was nothing of substance to come from it. This is going to be a very sluggish attacking round for Wolves, hoping that someone on SCARZ maybe over-aggresses. There it is. Washoy has been downed off by Mowgli. Well, that's your Legion. That's just your roamer. It's already been a minute 30, and he got a kill off the rip, so not the end of the world here for Wolves. They've got to be more concerned about, again, those mirror windows, Fenrir dread mines. I think Rek might be out of his zombie Kibas at this point, but you still have the Wamai magnets to worry about. It all comes down to if the rest of Wolves can stay alive and keep these cutoff positions, for example, whilst also assisting their teammates of getting into the bomb site from most likely this open breach heading into office.
I think most importantly, you still have Nina's C4 as
no.
well, and Asa's been killed off screen by Rek. Looks like coming up from the basement,
No
and
way.
the angle held on the window jump out. P4 killing Tayo from the double window though, but now he's downed. It's all up to the Ash, and Nina good for 3 kills. A 6-1 advantage for SCARZ, looking to send Wolves home.
No info, no assistance, no clue what's gotten into SCARZ, but it looks good on them, I'll say the least, Harrison. Crazy run out off the rip by Washoy, a flank to follow suit, killing the Habana. The Habana died as well. Asa died before they could even get the wall opened up, so they had to funnel in from piano and office balcony, which Nina was already watching. Even Grim getting off one of the best cutoff angles in the game because they realized, well, it's a 4vx. No one's going to peek me. I've got to get in the building. I think it might have been a 3v2, 3v1 soon to be because his teammate had died. But either way, SCARZ just making Wolves uncomfortable round after round. And like you mentioned, that's one of the more challenging bomb sites to defend Master Bedroom. Even nowadays, where it's been played a whole lot more in comparison to what it used to be. You're going to bar. With all this utility, all this info, with the Banshees, Valkyrie, Black Eye cameras, mirror windows, all the sorts. And Wolves, they've got a great lineup. Again, plenty of info of their own with the Lion Dokkaebi combination. They can make loads of space, and there is no Warden. So this Cavitao might be more valuable than you would initially expect, plus Bravo for the Banshees. But again, if you're losing people in the first minute, oh, don't tell me. Thankfully, Wolves killed Nina. That could have been the Dokkaebi dead too. I just talked about their utility that was so important in this round. Imagine losing those Logi bombs. Imagine losing the opportunity of getting those default cameras. That could have been devastating.
And it breaks a streak of 6 opening kills from SCARZ in a row. Again, Wolves proving that they are not out of this game just yet in Siege. It is not over until it's over. Lion Scan coming out, locks the defenders down. Washoy can hear the bullets being shot. He really wants this run out, but it could just be a bait, and he knows it. Now just backing off, making sure there's no info on him. Mirror window on Barstock already dealt with. Dokkaebi call coming out. Fish-like backing way far away from Piano and Master. Just going to support his team, and he's got another mirror window here. Minute 44, Wolves currently at a standstill, just collecting a little bit more info before they go for this run-in through Library. And here comes the first line of attack. Mowgli in, sends a couple shots through, kills Fish like Rek dead too. All the top floor players have fallen, but Washoy looking to retake. He goes 1 for 1. It's on Tayo. 1 versus 4 is the mirror. He's got a C4 in pocket, but he's getting called. They know his position. He's 1 HP. And Wolves about to have and now confirm their second round.
Well-needed adjustment there by Wolves. Not only denying the aggressive spawn peek that we saw by the back window from Bathroom looking down below into the spawn area, but also being able to work as a team. That's something we've harped on quite a lot by Wolves, these solo individual plays. You mentioned it, Harrison. Sometimes on defense, you can get away with that kind of play style, but on the attack where you have all of your utility focused in one position 9 times out of 10, you've got to play as a team to clear that out. And all of Wolves were so focused on getting Mez control. They shut down that player top Mez, then slowly gravitated towards blue stairs. That way Washoy could not retake as a lone Malusi. It was only a 1-for-1 trade. We need to see more rounds like that, obviously, from Wolves, but it's still a very, very long road to get back here for Wolves against SCARZ. A major round deficit, and it's still series point as well, Harrison.
It is. Wolves are going to have to win 4 more in a row if they want to avoid elimination. I've also got an update, John.
Yes.
DZ Furia.
5 seconds.
You want to take a guess?
Oh, well. Depends on what the map is.
All right, I'll tell you the map. It was Border.
I feel like Furia. I think Furia had that one in the bag.
Furia. Cover your ears if you don't want spoilers. Furia 8-7. Ooh. Max OT, back-to-back 5-1 defensive halves, and then 3 defensive wins in OT.
Yeah, it looks like
Crazy
Furia.
game.
I just now pulled up on Wikipedia. Yeah, Furia getting more defensive sides over in OT. Wow, 2 different 5-1 splits as well. Seems like they both really
And now,
struggle on their attack. That is crazy.
Whoever wins GK ITB has the misfortune of having to play DZ in a best of 3 now.
Ooh, that is awkward.
Aggressive
Oh my
play from the
God.
attack, but it's Fish-like with the opening pick on the dead shot, followed up on a Lasmo, and Mowgli goes 1 for 1. He can't get any more than that. The Azami of Wreck is good for 3. Is this how it ends? Asa can't even make it into the building, and APAC sends one of our French teams home. The Japanese move on, and we say goodbye to Wolves Esports.
A second chance at redemption, not only for Bleed, who just qualified